Got it.
All right. Well, happy Thursday, guys. I hope you guys are having a great week in sales. For me, I'm still at 8 apps for the week. I've got about 7,000 in AP roughly, but I'm shooting for 10 apps for myself. But today I got a real special treat for all of you guys. First of all, I want to apologize for all of you guys that come and watch our YouTube. I haven't dropped anything in terms of long content form. I've been focused on my shorts because we were just doing a little test on YouTube. But again, I want to come on here today and share with you guys some more information for those of you guys that are on the fence. Is this for you? Because let me tell you one thing. If you're not committed, if you're not self-motivated, if you're not looking at this business as what it is, a business, this is not for you. If you're starving to death and you don't have money for that first round of leads, that first month, this might not be the right time for you. What can you do? Put the money together, hit friends and family, sell some policies, get your lead money, because that's one of the biggest things that all of you guys need to make it. But today, I was finally able to get our number one partner, Thomas Mullen, on here with us. And this man is a workhorse. He works very hard. But for all of you guys that have been sending me messages, how, when, but scratching your head, again, here is the man's stats for the month of July: 240 billables. He closed 62% of these people when he picks up the phone and he follows up. So between July 1st and the end of July, working 20 days, working inbounds, he took 240 calls that our group sent him because we're his only lead source, and closed 150 applications with his own pen, his own voice signatures, for 115,998,000. And ladies and gentlemen, in my 21 years, I had never seen an agent write this amount. So Thomas, again, congratulations, man. Bravo to you. You earned every single one of those dollars. And again, my respects, because I see how hard you work, and that in itself is amazing to watch. But with that said, Thomas, everybody wants to know just a little bit more about you before we get into how you accomplished this production number.
So my background is very, very different. I am not, just so everyone understands this, I am not a sales guy. And to do really, really well doing this, you don't have to be a sales guy. Anybody from any walk of life can do this. And one of the things that I've always said in my 10 years of doing this is, yeah, this is the toughest business to do 30 grand a year, but the easiest business to do $100,000 plus. It really, really is. It truly is. But you have to have the right tools. So with me, really, really quickly, when I graduated college, I was very, very fortunate to become a DM for Shell. And it was great. It was wonderful. I was working 6 days a week, but I wanted more. And to get more, I always knew insurance and real estate was where it's at. So I really wanted to get into insurance. So what I did was I took a leap of faith. I quit Shell, put my resume on Monster. I don't even know if we still have Monster at the time, but I put my resume on Monster. And within about an hour, I got a call from New York Life Insurance Company in their Rye, New York office. And, I knew nothing about life insurance whatsoever, nothing at all. And I got a, yellow legal notebook pad and, just Googled everything I could about life insurance. So when I went the next day, I wouldn't look like an idiot. And, went there, talked to the recruiter. They hired me on the spot, took a bullshit test, passed that. And they said, listen, we're going to give you this book. This was on a Tuesday, mind you. Your test is going to be on Thursday. So we want you to study this. So, all of Tuesday night, all of Wednesday, all of Thursday morning, I was studying, and I took my test on Thursday, passed it. And then the following week is when I started with New York Life. So when I first got into New York Life, their training was okay, nothing like we have now. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. And, one of the things that I did when I walked in there, and I'll never forget this, is one of the guys that was next to me, his name was Wing Toe, and he was in the cube next to me. And I said, Wing, why is everybody here? And he looked at me and he goes, they're all here because they have no one to sell to. So at that point in time, 10 years ago, I had no idea what a lead was. I had no clue whatsoever, right? So what I ended up doing was I made my own script and I picked up a phone book, started with A, and I think I dialed around 1,100 people that day. And I made one sale. It was grueling. It was exhausting. Not really what I wanted to do. So I made lead cards for myself. What I decided to do was go to the greater New York City office on Lexington Avenue. And what I would do is, take the train and I would stand on the corner for like 3 or 4 days, every day, 3 to 4 days a week during like the lunch break. And what I would do is when people would be walking, I would walk up to them, have them walk up to me and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I do. If any of these service interests you, please give me a call. Let me tell you something. It teaches you how to get leather skin really, really quickly. But you try doing that when it's raining outside. You try doing that when it's 16 degrees outside. It's not really something you want to do. So fortunately, about 2 weeks after that, I got a call from one of the guys that I used to work with in New York Life while I was sitting at my cube. And he says, listen, man, I got hooked up with a company in Jersey, and we're selling something called Final Expense. And of course, being as ignorant as I was, I said, well, listen, I didn't quit a very, very good paying job or get into this to sell lowball policies to old people. It's not what I wanted to do. He goes, listen, try it, come out with me, you'll be hooked. I said, okay. So I met him in Jersey, went out with him. He had a stack of, direct mail lead cards. I go, this is my first appointment. I said, okay. Went with him, did his appointment, took him maybe an hour, made a quick $600. After that, I was hooked. What I did was I got hooked up with this company in Jersey, and what I ended up doing was created my own sales process, my own presentation, and just kind of tweaked it, and I would work all of their reworked direct mail lead cards. And these things were torn. These things were just completely discolored because no one could sell them. And what I would do is I'd get 50 a week, and I would call every day 3 to 4 times. I would set my appointments. I would make sales. So I lasted there for 3 months. In 3 months, I made them $113,000 with old, dated, reworked lead cards that were anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. At that point in time, I knew I could do better, and I did. So I went on my own, got contacted with a bunch of different companies, and just kept, rehoning my skill over and over and over again. But it was all face-to-face. It got to a point where, and I don't want to say the pandemic caused this because it didn't. It got to a point where, I was working the whole state of Connecticut. It's a very small state, so I could work the entire state. I worked every lead source imaginable, okay? From every lead source to every lead type, from a direct mail to a telemarketer lead to a press one lead to a TV lead, you name it, I worked it. And it got to a point where I wanted more. My best week selling this face-to-face, just everything went right that week, was a little over $11,000, okay? And when you're doing this face-to-face and you're doing a whole state, you really can only do maybe 4, 5 appointments a day tops, right? That's the thing. So you're very, very much limited. Even during the pandemic, I was still setting appointments. I was still getting appointments, and I was still doing my thing, which was great. But I knew that I would not get to where I want to be by doing face-to-face sales. It just wasn't going to happen. With telesales, you could do more with less. And the way I look at it is with telesales, if everything is correct and you have all the right tools, and we'll talk about, the leads that we use now, but if everything is correct and you have all the right tools, it is just unlimited income. And that's what I've experienced. So to do this doesn't take a lot of brains, doesn't take a rocket scientist. You don't have to have a college degree. You really don't. But there's three things that you need to have. Number one, you need to have a sales process and presentation that works and wins. We have that. There's no secret formula. There's no magic sauce. You guys are talking to Laura. You guys are wanting to come on, and you guys are asking, well, how does Thomas do this? Or how does Laura do that? Or how does anyone do this? It's the same sales process. It's the same presentation. That's what it is. The second thing you need to do is you need to be committed. You need to treat this like a business. You need to show up for work every day. And guys, girls, this is not hard work. Hard work to me is those guys and girls that you see on 95 and 90-degree weather, jackhammering on the highways in the sweltering sun. That's hard work. This is not hard work. This is very, very simple, right? So you got a sales process and presentation that wins. You got to be committed. You got to have a number in mind that you want to hit. You have to have goals. And more importantly, you have to have leads.
Amen.
And the one thing that I stress to everybody is that all leads are not created equally. They're not. I can tell you guys right now, the only leads that I use are Laura's leads. That's it. This is where all my business comes from. I don't sell to friends. I don't sell to family. I work Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And all I take are these inbounds. Because at the end of the day, there are so many lead sources out there. And I can tell you guys right now, they're bullshit. They suck. I've worked and used over 75 vendors in my 10 years. Okay. Nothing compared to these leads. Nothing compares whatsoever. And even back in the day when, I was using telemarketing leads that were generated overseas, and people were closing maybe 10%, I would be that one closing 25%. Okay. Mm-hmm. With these leads, I can tell you guys right now for the year, I'm teetering, however you want to say it, around 62%. And there's no way I would be able to close that high with any other leads. Because these people that call in, they're interested. They're calling in for a reason. I don't have to spend 5 minutes on the phone reminding these people what they're looking for, why they called in, right? So half the battle is won. And the way I always tell people, you have to look at these leads. When you guys get an inbound, it is, and for those of you guys that are selling face-to-face, that have sold face-to-face before, you guys will know what I'm talking about. When you guys get an inbound from Laura, okay, it is the equivalency of you calling a lead, that lead picking up the phone, that lead know what you're talking about, setting the appointment, you going to the appointment, that person showed up at the appointment, they let you in, and they let you give a presentation. That's what it's equivalent to.
Right.
So what you do when you get the inbound call is all on you. And that's why you have to have a sales process. You have to have a presentation. I mean, this is not rocket science. People shouldn't be on the phone for an hour, hour and a half. I'm on the phone from A to Z, maybe 20, 25 minutes tops. And that's doing voicing to the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, you got to keep it simple. Keep it simple, right. Keep it to the point, follow the script, and you know what? You'll do very, very well. But at the same time, you also need leads. I mean, people are going to talk shit. They're going to say, well, no, that's not possible. Well, it's not possible because you're not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? Probably because you have a tiny mind. Because every month for me, I increase sales. When I got to 40, I said, you know what? I can do 50. When I got to 50, I said, you know what? I can do 60. And then when I did 100,000 plus last month, I said, you know what? Now I'm really onto something. Because now for me, $100,000 a month is the new standard. Because what is it? The 14th, tomorrow makes the 15th. That's half of the month. I'll be at 50 grand for the month by tomorrow. So it can be done. The process is very, very simple. And I tell people all the time, after you've done this for a month, okay? After you've done this for a month, figure out what you want your income to be and work the numbers backwards. Because after a month, you'll know, okay, this is my average premium. This is how many calls I need to be billables. This is how many billables I'm making sales on, so on and so forth. And you work the numbers back. So you know exactly what you need on a daily basis. That's so right. When guys and girls, you know, when they get up on that Monday morning and they're worried about, oh shit, you know, how am I gonna where's my next sale coming from? I don't worry about any of that. I just say, shit, am I going to do 25 grand this week, or can I push it to 30 grand this week?
That's right.
And life is good. But it's very, very simple.
And
so, look, it's that simple. And the only thing I can tell anybody listening to this or watching this, what Lauro says works. What he does works. What he shows you guys works. There's no secret formula. There's no magic sauce. But you got to want to do it. Like, you got to commit. You got to have a number in mind. You need leads. You got to show up every day. And if you have those three things, commitment, sales process, presentation, and a great lead source, sky's the limit. It's just that simple.
It really is, man. And you know what, Tom? I really appreciate your time that you're taking to join us here, because I get so many people asking, right, wanting to hear from you. And everything you're saying is 100%. And, guys, I sell leads to outfits that don't follow our program, that don't have a sales process. And you can see that they're closing at a way lesser level. Why? Because they're just doing things without a strategy. What we do every single day, there's a strategy here, a process, not only on how to sell, but how to close, but more importantly, how to retain. So again, if you're watching this video, you're an agency owner, you don't have no leads, we can scale this to thousands. If you're, thinking about building out a team, give us an opportunity. Myself, Thomas, and Jody, we can help you, guide you, and put you on the right track so you're consistently selling insurance. Look, Thomas took what some of you guys do in 1 year annually, and he's doing it monthly. And he's doing it. We're watching him doing it. We have the call log showing him active, and look at us. All of us are here activated, working, receiving calls again of who? Of people that are dead serious about buying some insurance. And I'll give you guys an example before I let you guys all go, because we got a few more hours to make some money. But these are people, again, calling in. Here's one inbound, and just listen to the first couple seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for calling Senior Life Insurance Company. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm looking for a home expense plan for myself.
Come on.
Thank you for calling.
Within 12 seconds, these people are saying, what? I'm looking for a plan for myself. So again, if you guys are watching this, I'll invite you personally to one of my live Zooms like I have right now. You can see this firsthand. As long as you're licensed, I'll let you see what we do. And if you can duplicate our process, Tom has set a world record that I've never seen a personal agent do. I've seen these scammers doing these pre-closes from overseas centers, but Mr. Thomas Mullen, he shows up every day, works very hard, works harder than anyone I know on the phones, and this is why he's having these results. Our number 2 agent wrote $78,000. So there's people in America doing this, and if they can do it, so can you. So give us an opportunity and call us up. And Tom, thank you so much for taking your time, man. I know you're super busy, and I know you're going to break a record again this month. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Good luck.